Hello and welcome back everybody to Join the League season number 3, game number 2 between VoLT Torturas and GSe7en. GSe7en, they just took game number 1 so convincingly from early on, just got the first plat, got the first early kills as well and completely snowballed. And of course, VoLT Torturas, their lineup really didn't have any chance for a comeback just based on the nature of it. But it's game number 2, all games of Dota are completely different, so maybe they're gonna win this time around, maybe even faster, we'll see. My name is Coucher and I am once again joined by Grandis V.
Yeah, I don't know, these first couple of bans are taking a little bit longer than they did in game 1. But so far, no surprises. Doom, Faceless Void banned out.
Yeah, just completely standard. But VoLT Torturas, are they gonna ban out the Meepo this time around or not? Predictions?
Based on last game, they might, but first pick Meepo is always something very risky to do, and GSe7en didn't do it in the first couple of games, so they might save it until the second ban phase. At least I hope that's what they do. Just not giving away any of the supreme combos of the current meta, like they did last game with the Faceless Void Scarlet Mage.
Yeah, that combo is just so damn deadly, especially if we have Sun Strikes on top of that as well. So, was maybe a minor drafting error there, just giving so much damage output, but GSe7en, they themselves ban out the Tinker straight out, just to make sure that it doesn't come, but Meepo, well, it was banned, so no fun for us.
Yeah, I don't know, still a lot of heroes left in the pool, and Lycanthrope somehow squirmed his way into this picking stage. Whoops. I would have liked to see them ban out the Lycan instead of the Meepo. I don't think GSe7en would first pick the Meepo.
Yeah, it's... definitely, I don't think it's a first pick material as well, it's just too much time to counter it otherwise. But now GSe7en having the Lycan, I mean, VoLT Torturas, they can pick up a Shadow Shaman themselves, maybe even a Death Prophet to kind of try to block pick them, and of course, two strong heroes together as well, still have a lot of push themselves. But I feel like GSe7en, they might be going for like the Death Ball push kind of style, unless VoLT Torturas just completely outdrafted. But Earthshaker, the first pickup, it is in general good against pushing lineups, but oh, I don't know if it's gonna be enough.
This is so risky coming out from them. GSe7en have the cream of the crop. If they want to pick up the Death Prophet, they can go for that. They can pick up the Shadow Shaman. They can pick up the Nature's Prophet. There's just so many options, and they will go ahead and pick up the Shadow Shaman. This is something so scary to give away. That said, Scarlet Mage and Earthshaker are decent at picking off the Lycanthrope. You can silence him to make sure he doesn't get that ultimate off. The Echo Slam does a lot of magical damage, especially if you can catch him out with his Necro Books, as well as with his Wolves. But still, I don't know, I'm not sure if it's going to be enough for VoLT to deal with the push that's going to come out inevitably from GSe7en.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be extremely hard, if possible at all, to be honest. And of course GSe7en, they themselves probably aren't going to ban out any pushing heroes. They started with Tidehunter, so taking out a strong offlaner who's just hard to bring down. But VoLT Torturas, they actually ban out a Leshrac. Oh man, I'm not too sure if GSe7en had gone for it. Yes, it's a pretty strong hero, has a good stun, as well as the Diabolic Edict. But did you see GSe7en going for it?
Honestly, no. Especially if they're not banning out the pushing Prophets, Nature's Prophet, and Death Prophet. I think whichever one they leave into the pool is going to be snagged up by GSe7en, and that's just another hero that you really don't want to be giving away.
Yeah, I mean, GSe7en, they could even just go for a Pugna as well, especially up against the Skywrath Mage. You just can't really drop the Mystic Flare without expecting to die afterwards yourself if the Nether Ward is down. So we'll see if GSe7en is gonna go for that extra push. Sometimes teams just limit themselves with like 2 pushing heroes and then go standard otherwise, but if they go for like a Death Prophet or Nature's Prophet, either one of those, I mean, it's not like they won't have any late game at all. They will still have a lot of late game. Even Lycan can carry if just going for the right items.
Yeah, definitely. If you get like an Abyssal Blade up on your Lycanthrope and other things along those lines, just make him really tanky with a Heart BKB. I don't know, can still be a very scary late gamer. Enigma is going to be the ban out by VoLT. I like this ban a lot better than the Leshrac ban. Enigma just combos so well with the Lycanthrope. The Howl on the Eidolons is actually ridiculous when you have 6 units getting that bonus 30 damage. Or, wait, excuse me. 20 damage for minions. Yeah, I don't know, just really crazy. Gives them a lot of teamfight potential as well. Yeah, but still, GSe7en, a lot of heroes that you usually don't see at this point in the draft have made their way through.
Yeah, it's it's scary if you're asking me. I mean, VoLT Torturas, what do they actually go for as the third pick? I mean, they have their two supports set out, unless we're gonna see Skyrim Mage mid. Do you think it's a possibility, just mix it up and go for something crazy in hopes for a win?
At this point in the draft, I think you just kind of have to assume that Scarlet Mage is going to be a support, but as the draft progresses, that might be an option for VoLT. I don't know, Scarlet Mage as a mid, he needs to get a lot of kills and doesn't offer very much in the way of counter pushing. And, I don't know, could just fall flat on his face up against the 5-man push that's going to come out from G7. But we'll have to see.
Indeed we will, and man, this... Just facing this kind of push style is always scary, but actually pick up a Dragon Knight for themselves. I mean, decent amount of counter push with the Breed Fire. Just a tanky frontliner, some push of their own as well. But G7, they go for a Viper, so at least for the time being, not picking up those crazy pushers like Nature's or the Death Prophet.
Honestly, I think their next pickup's going to be the Nature's Prophet. I think that Viper is just going to be mid lane and make it pretty much impossible for VoLT to deal with, because they have the Dragon Knight, and even if they decide to shake things up and put the Scarlet Mage toward the mid and safe lane farm that Dragon Knight, I don't know, this Viper is still going to be very difficult for them to deal with. They'll get an early mech for his team, and it's always good to have a good frontliner when you are building in these 5-man pushing lineups, and it's just very difficult to stop. I like the Viper pick here. Dragon Knight is never really a bad pickup. He can always spam Breathe Fire to get his farm, but I think VoLT needs something a little bit more risky. They need to gamble with this, because if they play their standard game, they're going to lose.
Yeah, it definitely looks like it at the moment at least. They do have 24 more seconds to decide on their fourth pick here. It needs to be a good one. They need the offlaner on. Well, Magnus, it has the potential for some great plays, and GSe7en actually a Visage for them, so no Nature's Prophet, at least not for the time being, but the Familiars also, some addition to the push. Magical burst damage as well, of course, from the Soul Assumption. It's not a bad hero by any means, but I definitely wasn't expecting it to come out.
No, Visage a hero that's really fallen out of popularity after several nerfs, especially making him fairly squishy at the early levels. Death Prophet's going to be the ban out from VoLT, so it looks like they still have the possibility of picking up that Nature's Prophet to throw towards their off lane. And, I don't know, I think VoLT, they need to get their Blink Daggers online, the Earthshaker and the Magnus ASAP, and then they just need to have the perfect combo when defending high ground, because I don't see them defending their tier 1s very effectively.
Yeah, tier 1s are just so easy to bring down. Especially once Shadow Shaman hits at level 6, and I mean, they can fairly easily even sneak a Roche, maybe if they have like the tier 2s on the, well, the 2 towers on the safe lane push down, maybe tier 1 mid as well. Just sneak in a Roche. And with the Visage pickup, actually, he's a hero that pretty often picks up the Medallion of Courage as well. So Lycan won't actually have to go for it, can focus more on just getting the earlier Necrobook or Basher into a Abyssal later on, something like that. So it's scary. But Magnus, I mean, big reverse polarities do have the potential to turn it around, especially if we have an Echo Slam to just finish it up.
Okay. Now, this Gyrocopter pick, I quite like it coming out from VoLT, but it's still very risky. It's going to offer a decent amount of counter push with cooldowns, as well as just the flat cannon damage coming out. Gives them more AoE for their ridiculous combo. And, I don't know, it can work out for them, but still, it's extremely risky. Batrider is going to be the last pickup for G7. A hero we haven't seen very much of as of late. It's not going to really fit into the death ball push of their lineup, but will allow them to get these solo pickoffs. And if they take out the Earthshaker or the Magnus before the start of a fight, I don't know, the dream is going to be pretty much dead for VoLT of getting that perfect initiation.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be hard. But we'll see if they, or who rather, can get the initiation first, whether it be the Batrider or the Magnus. Maybe even the Earthshaker if he somehow finds himself a really early Blink Dagger, which I kind of doubt. I really love heroes that just rely on Blink Daggers with just a lot of farm, together with the pushing kind of heroes, just so you can get that early global gold, get the extra income. But I'm not too sure if the Dragon Knight himself will be enough to just push down the towers.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's going to rely a lot on execution. Currently, I'm favoring G7's lineup, although not as much after the first, or the last couple of picks. I think if they just went all in, they'd be better off. But still, they're going to play it conservatively. We are going to have a little bit of a bump in the jungle. Batrider says hi to the Gyrocopter. Gyrocopter actually levels up Homing Missile level 1, and that might be a mistake. He's going to try to juke through the trees. It will do a decent amount of damage to the Batrider, but it's not going to be enough. Skewer comes out from the Magnus. So also Arcane Bolt onto Leo. Leo's taking a decent amount of damage, but the Gyrocopter looks like he might be the first one to fall. Beautiful fissure lands onto 3 heroes, but First Blood's drawn by the Visage with that Solo Assumption being thrown out. Viper also dies his return kill. Visage might fall here. I don't know, it looks like he's going to be just fine. He is fairly slow, but no pursuit's going to come out from VoLT. So in the end, G7 get the better exchange, mostly just due to the nuking damage coming out from the Visage.
Yeah, the Soul Assumption just does so much. It's kind of ridiculous how much it actually does on the first level. But also VoLT, I have no idea, of course, well, I know why the Gyrocopter and the Magnus were so far ahead of everybody else on their team, because they started with boost of speed. But I just don't understand why they went so far ahead themselves. If they had gone from as a 5-man unit straight away, maybe could have set up an easier kill earlier on for themselves. Just waited out, but I guess 1-1, it's not a disaster for them, as yes, First Blood went to G7, but at least they got the counter as well.
Honestly, with boost first, I think the Gyrocopter would have been better off skilling up Rocket Barrage just for the basic amount of damage that might have been enough to secure them the First Blood, just with a little bit more going the way of the Viper. Lycanthrope's going to eat himself a Homing Missile, but Gyrocopter's eaten through a lot of his mana, or is going to eat through a lot of his mana, but they're going to try to zone out this Lycan. Going aggressive in this lane is a fairly interesting choice coming up from G7. I probably would have liked to see more traditional lanes, with the Batrider being in the off and just have one of the supports stacking for him.
Yeah, they're definitely doing something out of the ordinary. I mean, I was also expecting them to draft more into push as well after the first two, but not gonna go for it. Looking at the mid lane though, Leo, he got himself a double damage wound, should be able to just completely dominate Quatsa with this. And once it ends, even then, just poison attack should be such a strong tool against a melee hero. But the smoke coming in, can they set up the kill on the DK?
I don't know. Let's see how it's going to pan out for them. Quadri's actually playing up very aggressively, and with the Shackles, this should be a fairly easy kill in the mid, actually. Soul Assumption comes out, one more auto attack from the Shadow Shaman to secure it. And yeah, they even had the Howl damage on top of that to assist with that kill.
Yeah, the Howl is just such a great tool to have. I mean, it helps out every single lane. Even bot lane, Batrider can have a slightly easier time just going for the last hit. Because otherwise, Batrider's damage 42, definitely nothing that just shines. But this bottom lane matchup, Batrider against Magnus, Batrider definitely should be having the upper hand anyway with this just sticky napalm.
Yeah, I don't know. Magnus, if he gets a bottle online, he can spam out those shockwaves a little bit more liberally. And both should be able to farm fairly effectively. I don't think he'll be zoned out at least until the Batrider gets a couple more levels on himself. But still, down in bottom, Visage finds himself a haste rune. It looks like he's going to leave that for the Shadow Shaman to try to get a kill on this Mag down bottom.
Yeah, it looks like they might be considering lane swapping at the moment as well. Lycan comes to the bottom lane, so probably Kenji gonna make it to the top
Magnus.
lane.
He saw the two supports rotating down, but he hasn't backed off quickly enough. He has the Skewer base, not going to be able to get that off. They rotated the Lycan down bottom, and with the Howl damage, he gets the Skewer back on, but it's not going to do anything. As the damage from the Shadow Shaman nets him a second kill this game.
Yeah, he's gonna be really happy about it. He's only 150 gold away, but mid lane, they get the slow, the stun onto Leo as well. Will it actually be enough? No, Quatsa didn't have enough for the Dragon Tail, and now Kalai, he comes in, can they get the counter kill? Great chill onto Maru, should be an easy kill once the Solar Ascension comes out, and indeed it is. Oh man, a disaster.
Absolutely. I don't know. Viper, he only has 1 point in that corrosive skin, but he just took a very good path and a nice VP coming out from the Visage. He's able to make it. Oh no, the fissure! Earthshaker's able to kill the Viper. Took a little bit too much damage from the creeps. I didn't think that'd be enough, but in the end it is. Only level 1 Fissure was able to secure that kill.
Yeah, that was maybe a little bit sloppy from the Viper as well, just... He had some bottle charges left as well, could have used them, but... Still, it's not too bad, but a silly mistake, that's all it is, I guess. Earthshaker definitely happy about just getting the counter, getting himself some boost of speed now with this. But the supports still hanging around mid lane for a little while. Don't think they can get the jump on Dragon Knight though.
Yeah, I don't know. Top lane has been completely abandoned by the Radiant. They're going to give Gyrocopter quite a bit of room. Not a huge fan of this move. I think leaving the Batrider there for a little bit longer would still be okay, as he got solo experience. It's actually a level ahead of the Gyrocopter. I don't know. I do like having the Lycan down in bottom. He'll be able to farm very effectively up against the Magnus, and the supports will have a lot of room to rotate as well and stack up the jungle for their bat.
Yeah, I mean, Lycan definitely wants those levels. Wants to have the shapeshift. Maxed out wolves as well for the extra pushing power. But Kalai coming in, of course. Maru, he's also camping there. Actually, if a nice skewer might bring them behind the tower. Oh, the skewer goes up, but will it be enough? The shockwave is flying at Joe. The right clicks. Oh, soul assumption. He doesn't have enough mana for another one. And Jojo, he actually makes it out on Nakala. He's the one on the run. Right clicks coming in. One more arcane ball to seal the deal, possibly. His tangoing up. Is it going to be enough? The wolves come through. Nope. It is a 1-for-1 trade as Viper got the kill on Dragon Knight mid at least.
Yeah, TP away from the Lycanthrope, forcing him to spend that little amount of gold, but at the very least he didn't die. All across the map, a 1-for-1 trade support for mid, as well as that TP on the Lycan. I don't know, this Dragon Knight just not having a good time, 0 and 2 on his person, so yeah. Pretty much as expected, you're not going to be winning your lane up against the Viper, but I'd like to see him not dying as much. I don't know, that first death was pretty much unavoidable, but probably should have been a little bit further back with the Viper.
Yeah, probably.
Up in top, they're going to get the Shackles off onto the Gyrocopter with Grave Shield to follow it up. Batrider does not have a Flame Break to bounce him back, and with the boots he might be able to make it out alive. He's slowed down by that sticky Napalm, but is taking a fairly straight path, so it looks like he might be able to make it out. Let's see, he turns and tries to go for the Rocket Barrage up the hill, but I think that was a fatal mistake coming out from the Gyrocopter.
Yeah, if he just could have kept running, maybe the support rotation from VoLT had been enough. Earthshaker maybe getting a nice block off or something. Although, of course, the support, they started running through the river. Maybe if they had come to just meet him from the jungle. But now they're gonna get slowed down. Viper's Trek is there as well from Leo. Should be enough unless the Earthshaker. No, he doesn't get the Fisher. Nice Shackles from Linger, actually keeping him in place. Now, Mesmerizer, he is back. But the Rocket Barrage, the Flag Cannon. Leo, he gets away. So a 1-for-1 mid laner for his support if Leo makes it out.
Yeah, Leo looks like he's going to be okay. Oh, fishing for that with the Magnus, but Leo will be able to anticipate that and go towards the right and be just fine in the end of the day. He also has the bottles, so he might even be able to stick around the lane for a little bit longer.
Yeah, it's 7-4, G7. I mean, kill-wise, it's not that far in their favor, I guess, but it's just the nature of their lineups. Lycan getting the early levels, already pressuring the tower by himself as well. Has the Vladimir's offering finished soon enough as well now, and, well, Jojo, he doesn't have enough mana, he has to bottle up the haste run. Although I actually think the Lycan is going to fall down. No, the skewer missed.
Yeah, very good juke coming up from Lycan. He's still slowed down by the concussive shot, and they might have enough damage with the Silence Arcane Bolt. It will be enough. I don't know, Lycanthrope just being a little bit too aggressive there. He was able to walk towards the right to avoid the skewer coming out from the Magnus, but in the end, just not going to be enough. Lycanthrope still has a wolf here. Maybe he'll be able to net himself one last hit, and he gets one at the very least, and Magnus isn't killing it just yet.
He's even denying with it. Getting some revenge on Magnus, although Magnus actually has been doing rather well. 0, 1, and 3 for an offlaner. I think it's really good. Of course, no arcane boots, so nowhere near an actual blink dagger yet.
Yeah, definitely. After the bottle, it looks like he is just going to straight up save for the blink dagger. At least I hope that's what he's going to do. I think going for the arcanes would be a bit of a mistake coming out from this offlane Magnus. The blink dagger would just come a little bit too late, I feel.
He already has the bottle, so I guess he doesn't need the extra mana regeneration that much anymore. Mid lane Leo just playing with fire, just hanging around. The Fisher is there. Quasar, Elder Dragon form, Dragon Tail to follow up. Does he have enough for a Breed Fire? Yes, he does. But Leo, so damn tanky with just holding 2 points into Corrosive Gain, and he's going to survive unless he goes back in to die.
Yeah, Quadra is going to be the one, or Quadza, excuse me, is going to be the one that gives up his life with the Viper Strike under tower, just nowhere to run. Up in top, we have a missile being thrown the way of the Batrider. I believe that's only a level 1 missile, and Batrider should be just fine. And in fact, it might be killed. No, it won't. Tower won't have enough last hits there, or attacks onto the missile. I don't know. This Gyrocopter isn't the most farmed, but does have his Boots Aquila, and presumably working towards Phase Boots or Drums next.
Yeah, those are at least the common items. But top lane, the blink from Kenji actually doesn't get close enough for the lasso. Oh man, that's just... Usually when you use the blink for the first time, you definitely want it to just work out as a surprise factor. But not to be this time around. And Maru wants to set something up. The cooldown is there. Kenji, can he get out of it? He gets slowed down from the first bounce. Now the concussion shot comes up, but a nice flame break, pushing him back. Hex onto Mesmerizer as well, and Kenji will make it out.
Yeah, I don't know, a whole lot of support rotations, lots of TP spent by these supports early on. This is just going to pop his head up into the top lane. Does not have level 6 available, only about halfway through level 5 currently, so we won't see those familiars. I don't know, so maybe a little bit of a wasted rotation. I think just sitting down mid, soaking experience, or staying in the jungle, I don't know, might have been a better option. I don't know, TP's down in bottom, they try to check out this catch out this Lycan, but in the end, he'll just be able to ult form away.
Yeah, the shapeshift, of course, so hard to actually pin anybody down. Maybe with Magnus just going for the reverse, but right, the skewer under their own tower. And now actually 9 minutes in, Lycan finally gets himself that Vladimir's offering, so definitely not the fastest farm for a Lycan. I mean, he's number 4 as far as net worth is concerned, but still, with that Vladimir's offering finished now, he can just start farming up to jungle so fast as well.
Yeah, I don't know. Magnus does go for the arcane boots. I don't like this choice coming out from him. He could be halfway towards his blink dagger. I don't know, but we're probably not going to see the blink before 15 minutes, possibly even later than that. It might coincide with the Earthshaker's blink dagger, depending on how these next couple of fights go. I don't know. Yeah, usually you see the arcane boots on mid Magnus so they can spam with that shockwave a lot more liberally, but in the offlane you just don't get as much farm as you'd like. Gyrocopter is currently sitting in the offlane, so a lot of musical lanes coming out from both of these teams. The Lycanthrope is going to be up against the Gyro, but no, he should be just fine. It is PTs picked up by the Gyrocopter. What do you think about power treads on Gyro?
I mean, it's not bad. I don't think he actually needs that much extra right click damage, as Leo is gonna get slowed down by the concussive shot. Can he actually reach the invis rune? Yes, he can. He pops it as well, so he should be safe. But power treads, I guess just getting some tank. Goes for the cooldown just to make sure Lycan doesn't actually chase him, and his action, they don't let me talk. But anyway, I think it's just fine. He wants to be able to survive, I guess, the lasso initiation and just the soul assumption.
Mid, Scarlet Mage eats a Viper Strike. Just look at how slow that auto attack was, and he'll be blown up by an Ether Shock. They turn around on Guadza. They have the double drops. They're going to drop the RP onto Leo. Leo in a lot of trouble. Blinking for the Earthshaker, or Batrider, excuse me. Earthshaker's going to get a nice fissure, and he's just locked in place. Flame Break will delay things for now. I don't think he'll tick down, and especially without that Shockwave, but the Shockwave going to drop the Shadow Shaman fairly low as well. I don't know. They get the Earthshaker and trade for the Viper. Not a great exchange for G7. I don't know, a beautiful fissure coming up from the Earthshaker to stop that from becoming even more coming up from the Batrider.
Yeah, I mean, that was so sick. Batrider blinked in just as the fissure came out from the Earthshaker, just stopping his lasso coming out. And Batrider, he really is a little bit unfortunate with his blink-ins. First, he couldn't really get in range for the Gyrocopter, just a little bit off for the lasso now. Getting stunned, not even getting to use his ultimate at all. But even with that, they're still getting the kills, or even if they lose a few in return sometimes, it's still a favorable trade for them because they get a higher priority target. And of course Lycan was able to take tier 1 tower down. Actually still went for a medallion himself, not leaving that item to actually double medallion. What did Lycan sell his? No, double medallion it is for them.
I'm not a huge fan of this. I don't think they stack. And I think just keeping that inventory slot open for the Lycanthrope is usually the better option. I think Visage is probably the better carrier, and even if you want the medallion on your Lycanthrope instead of the Visage, I think as a Visage, you just get the Ogre Club towards your Aghanim Scepter that much earlier.
Yeah, it's definitely a slight mistake by them, I think, just overlooking or not communicating about what item who's gonna get. It might be because Lycan just wants to solo farm or split push or something. Then maybe about Kenji. He's on the hunt again. Can he get the lasso? Yes, he catches the Earthshaker. Should be an easy kill. They have the Viper Strike as well if they really want to use it, but no, Hex is there. And Mass Serpent Wards do the rest. Call down. Actually only gonna hit on one Kenji. He gets stunned up by the Dragon Tail at the same time. Actually might fall down. Breed Fire is there. A nice Flame Break pushes everybody back, and now Gyrocopter is the one on the run, getting cleaned up by the Soul Assumption, and well, Magnus, he just ran in and died.
Full team wipe in the end. They lost a Batrider for it, but hashtag worth for him. And I don't know, this Batrider is going to have his 4-step up quickly, especially after that tower falling. He has it completed, or I assume that's what he's going to be building next. And yeah, I don't know, just a very interesting engage coming out from VoLT. Very spread out. They didn't really have great focus fire. The Shadow Shaman actually managed to survive on very low HP, and now Roshan's available for G7 to take this. This is a fairly risky move. They could TP to the tier 2 tower and try to contest this, but they might not even know what's going on. It's a fairly, I don't know, unexpected move at that.
Yeah, 30 minutes in, if you're the Radiant side and you get Roche, you already know that something is going wrong for the Dire side. Because usually you definitely shouldn't have enough map control this early on, or just dominance in a game to be able to do so, but they have been able to just completely wreck so far. 15-7, looking at the graphs as well, a 10k gold lead already for G7, XP 6,000 or so, but skyrocketed quite heavily after the couple of team fights. So, can they be stopped? Will VoLT just get enough items to stop maybe G7 at the high ground, or?
I don't know. I think your first step to stopping them at the high ground is that Blink Dagger on the Magnus. If he didn't go for the Arcane Boots, he'd have it now. But I don't know, still only about halfway and almost 15 minutes in, and Earthshaker, Blink Dagger is a distant dream for this poor ES. As a support, this is generally how it looks when you're behind. You just don't get the farm. He's not like a Sand King where he can just go into the jungle and get his farm that way. Gyrocopter falling fairly low, taking up the creeps as well as the wolves, going to drop him to about half health. But nobody's in the vicinity, they're all pushing top lane, Serpent Ward's down, and tier 1 tower up on top is going to be forfeit.
Yeah, usually that's the time actually when Dragon Knight just pops his Elder Dragon form, goes to push down the mid tier 1 at the very least. But not gonna go for it, and now Gyrocopter shapeshifted up, actually they used the reverse polarity, Mystic Flare on top, even the cooldown is there, Kenji though. He blinks in, silenced up, getting skewered back as well. Oh, he's actually gonna lose his life, yes he is. But like, and he's back, can he do anything though?
I don't know, Soul Sumption, the way of the Earthshaker, do they have to right click damage? No other way to catch him out. Yeah, unfortunately, the Batrider getting silenced as soon as he jumped in. They weren't able to stop him down. No stuns to stop this Magnus. Pushed a little aside by the Fissure, but in the end, he will be able to TP up. But the Earthshaker not going to be so lucky. Lycanthrope gets a kill with the Wolves.
Yeah, the Dragon Knight was just trying to get there in time, coming in from behind, from the Riven with the Invis rune. But by the time he actually arrived, 2 heroes down. And now, probably going to lose tier 2 as well, unless the Dragon Knight pulls off something huge.
Yes, the invisibility rune, no detection on the ground. They don't have RP available. He's gonna throw the Dragon Tail stun on the Lycan, but the aggro was on the Wolf, and now Quads is going to be the one to fall, it looks. They're going to be able to screw back the Visage. He's very deep into enemy lines, but gets the Soul Assumption, summons his Familiars before this is over. He does have the Stomps available, and the Gyrocopter's just not going anywhere. They get a missile off onto the Visage, but I don't know, they will be able to secure that kill, but they're going to lose the Gyro for it. Now Sky's Mage, Viper's on the very edge of it. He's very low. Will he die to creeps? He's bottling up. He'll be just fine as the aggro is taken by the Shadow Shaman, and a full team wipe yet again in the favor of G7, and it looks like the tier 2 tower is just gonna fall.
Yeah, it's just once again a team wipe for one hero. They're just trading favorably every single time, and once again, G7, every single one of their members has surpassed VoLT in net worth, and when it's at that point, I have never ever seen a comeback from such a huge disadvantage.
Yeah, definitely not, especially when you consider that they haven't even been able to put much damage at all on any tower on the side of GSe7en. They have half damage on the mid-tier 1 tower and about a third on the top, but they're not going to be able to see these tier 1s for quite some time with the map control that G7en are seizing. I don't know, I think it's just fairly straightforward from here. Push down mid, take the tier 2 tower there, go top, take the tier 2 tower there. With the vast amount of items that you have, you can go straight up high ground, or you can even wait for the next Roshan, as they did last game, although that might be just a little bit too safe for my comfort, but still wouldn't be bad. They're going to jump in on the Shadow Shaman after he picks up his Dragon Knight, excuse me. They're going to be able to blow him up. The Shadow Shaman with his Blink Dagger still being delivered on the courier won't have that available. They're going to trade 1 for 1, not the best trade. Soul Assumption throwing away the Gyrocopter and a Shockwave. He's looking for a skewer RP. Solo on the Shadow Shaman. He'll at least get that kill, but is it really worth it? That's really the best tool that they have to defend high ground. This is going to be fissured up. A nice fissure coming out from the Earthshaker. I think he's still weasel through that tree, however, and he will do so. Earthshaker dies to the Viper behind the tower. Just too much damage going his way, and I don't know, with these illusions, they're going to push down mid. Magnus does have his Blink Dagger, but it's not really going to do all that much. Shadow Shaman in the base. Oh my goodness, I wasn't even looking there. Lycanthrope, he's at the well. I wasn't expecting that one. Picks up his Necronomicon 3, and they're just going to take this Rax. Tier 3 tower is already dead. I wasn't sure where to look. The fight was going on in mid. They will screw back the Lycanthrope. He's healing up with the Vladimir's offering. It doesn't look like it's going to be enough with the Shockwave Poison attack. He's still going to get the Magnus before he dies. But yeah, in the end, that's going to be it. Yes, the Wolves are going to be annoying to the Skywrath Mage, but what a crazy engagement. I didn't even know the Lycanthrope was there until the very end.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect it to come out as well, and oh, Quasar can actually escape the slow Scrape Shield is there, Poison Attack, Viper struck up as well. The Fissure to buy some time, but suddenly I thought like mid-fight it's over, then I saw like Lycan getting a kill, I was like, what? Looking at the minimap, Lycan just diving the enemy base. Oh wow. I mean, he didn't even have Necro level 3 for that, so from now on, it's going to become a lot scarier. Master Serpent Wars on cooldown for the time being, so I guess without the Lycan, they can defend actually.
Well, Fissure, Skywrath Mage ulti onto Leo. That extra magic resist is helping him in droves, and now the mechanism, it's going to keep him alive, it seems. Grave Chill, it looks like they're going to be forced back here without the Lycanthrope and without those Serpent Wards. So or at least for now, VoLT are going to hold on to their towers, but look at that Aghanim Scepter on the Visage. At 18.5 minutes about, he's going to have that completed. 3 Visage Familiars, Unfortunately, he is only level 11, not going to have level 16, but I mean, at this time, this is just absolutely crazy. Skywrath Mage and Earthshaker are pretty much going to be solo killed by the Visage if he gets the birds on him. Magnus down bottom, Blinkax comes out from the Shadow Shaman. They probably don't even use the lasso here. They'll just shackle him and plays, blow him up with Soul Ascension. Batrider gets the last hit with the Flame Break, excuse me.
Yeah, they're just doing whatever they want at the moment, VoLT. I mean, even if the Magnus RP, like catching 5 heroes, might not be enough. I guess Call Down Mystic Player on top actually might, but oh, they get the Hex on Shadowcopter as well. Probably gonna fall down. Fisher, not doing anything at all. No buybacks on anybody. Maru gonna fall as well. So, GG call, yes, no?
Not just yet. They're going to shackle him under the tier 4 tower. Blink forward by the Batrider. He's going to be able to grab the Earthshaker here. This could be a decent Echo Slam. He throws it with his dying breath, but Ultra Kill team wipe in the end, and now the racks are going to fall. I wouldn't be surprised to see a GG. I'm not sure there's any hope, especially with Lycanthrope taking the top rack simultaneously.
Yeah, it's 100% over, I think. I mean, Crafts, almost 30,000 gold lead for GSe7en 20 minutes in. XP 20,000 as well. So GSe7en, they were just definitely the better team coming into this game.
Yeah, VoLT were a little too scared of that Meepo Bandit in the first stage and let Lycanthrope through, and I just don't think that's something you can afford to do.
Yeah, you definitely cannot. I think it's just easier to try to keep a Meepo at bay than a Lycan. Lycan just, even if you get some kills on him early on, he just gets those levels, gets the bulls, maxed out Howl as well maybe, and suddenly towers start falling.
Yeah, pretty much sums up that game. Another 20-minute or so victory coming out from GSe7en, a very dominating performance, taking the series 2-0.
Indeed, and well, GSe7en at least ended the day on a high note. First series was a draw, second one 2-0, so feeling happy about it. But guys, this is gonna sum it up for us, I think. Indeed it is, and at least for the time being. On HeflaTV 1 there's still Power Rangers versus My Insanity going on, so check that out for sure if you're interested. As well as at 21 CEST we'll be back with JDL America Division 1. Sneaky Nix Assassins versus, I think it was Union Gaming, yes, so should be a great game as well. But for this channel, it's gonna be over for the time being at the very least. Thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed us, be sure to follow us on Twitch, on all our English channels, as well as our social media. You can find all the links below the stream. And of course, big thanks to GrandisV for casting with me, and where can people find you?
Oh, they can find me at Twitter at GrandisV, GrandSV, and well, it's always a pleasure to cast with you, and it's been fun, although it's been fairly short in this series.
Yep, indeed it was, and oh, hopefully we'll get some more exciting games that aren't as one-sided, but still nice to see some good execution. But guys, this is gonna be it. Check out HeflaTV 1 for Power Rangers vs My Insanity, and just have a good one.